All right, Mr. Peter Obi is urging Nigerians to pray for politicians so that they'll be inclined to use public funds for the development and welfare of the people. I believe we're number 3 or thereabouts in the world praying country here in the world. Okay, the former presidential candidate who attended the funeral service of late Cecilia Omehia, mother of the former governor of River State, Celestine Omehia, at St. Teresa's Catholic Church, Ubima, Ikwere local government area of the River State, has emphasized the need for politicians to work together for the common good of the people. Speaking alongside of the politicians, political figures at the funeral service, Obi made a plea for prayers for politicians to be guided towards using public funds for the benefit of the people. He appreciated the officiating Bishop Most Reverend Patrick Eluke, the auxiliary bishop of Port Harcourt Diocese, for his advice to politicians, but he went further to talk about the importance of collective effort for the welfare of the populace. Okay, in the sermon of the Reverend Father, who also cautioned supporters of politicians against inciting crisis in the state in the name of showing loyalty to their paymasters. They were being advised that they should focus on developing their careers and skills, emphasizing the need for peace and stability in the state. All right, with us in the studio, we also have Mr. Akin Fatanke and also Mr. White, Emmanuel White, and they've been here with us. They've actually helped us in looking at the first topic where the president was of the opinion that Nigeria would have been bankrupt if they did not pull out the fuel subsidy. Now to you, Mr. Akin Fatanke, it is now a prayer something. Yeah, it's no longer what is happening in Nigeria, according to Peter Obina, is more like a spiritual thing. So everybody needs to get bail. You have to start praying for politicians so that they will be able to do their work. What do you make of that statement?
I actually thought we were going to talk to the man in white.
No, we'll still get back to him. We'll get back to
pulling
him.
your legs.
He will still tell us his opinion on that.
Because the man in white is seek God before those of us in black. No, that's supposed to be a joke and to talk the conversation.
Yeah.
Mr. Peter Obi has a right to say whatever he wants to say as a politician. And talking about prayer, in my humble opinion, I pray, and I pray in my own closet. But I don't just pray, I act. I make sure that my action more attracts the best to me. We are over-religious. Our over-religiosity is not going to take us anywhere. We can't continue to do the same thing and expecting different results. And he's gone to his constituency into a church and is asking people to pray. He's talking to the laity and he's talking to the clergy, who are also politicians. There's no doubt about that. What we need in Nigeria is action and obey our laws and our rules. We have ethics, we have morality, all of them, himself inclusive, and Mr. President, who is currently in there. All politicians are of the same hue and cry. When you are supposed to be sitting down, like Awolowo said, thinking through how to resolve problems, busy praying and looking for miracles, looking for working less and getting... Well, Nigeria is not producing. We need to make it produce. Nigeria is not following the tenets of the rule of law. Nigeria is not on a tripod where you have equity and justice. Those are the things. No prayer on earth will take you out of that. Come 2027, continue to pray and pray. All the prayers that we have been praying all this while, which is I think the Lord God Almighty that we all believe is such a very quiet God. Comeuppance is coming on them, no doubt about that. Is there a capacity for us to morally do things right? Don't we know some of the things that we need to do? Asking politicians, is it the same politicians like we have in Kogi State? Right?
I was going to come to that.
Is it the type of politicians that we have all over the place that we are, and is it the type of politicians, including members of his Labour Party,
all right, let's
in the National Assembly, and they are doing some of the things they are doing, and they are saying when you are eating, you don't speak. Come on,
right,
we
Mr.
need
White.
moral compass to get to where we need to get to.
Moral compass.
Yes.
All right then.
Now, Mr. White, a lot of people actually have pointed out religious issue to be one Nigerians actually are having as a challenge. People of the opinion that we pray. As regards the ranking, the world, I think we are number 3 or thereabouts, the country that prays more. And then when you check what's it called, economic strength and all
index.
that, even the corruption index, and so many other ones actually pointing out that we are also high on that particular ranking level. Now, what do you have to say about the issue of people not doing what they're supposed to do, but the result of fasting and praying and shouting?
That statement was an unfortunate truth. Unfortunate truth in the sense that prayers are actually needed. But when you pray, who do you pray to? And then when you pray, you also must be part of the answers to the prayers. Does the government pray? Now, America, UK were in this situation before, and they prayed through. And when they prayed through, God answered their prayer, and their prayer changed. Now, Pastor E.A. Adeboye told the whole world that the problem of Nigeria is spiritual, and there was a barrage of insult on him on the internet because they didn't understand what the man of God.
So you think our problem
was
is a spiritual one?
It is because God, in one of my
Tell me
prayer,
a country
Yes.
that religiosity has helped and brought out of a hardship into a place of plenty.
yes, America, UK,
Religiosity helped
Yes.
the Americans.
prayer, yes.
Well, when
They
we talk
pray.
about the men that built America, I don't know if you've seen the documentary. I don't remember seeing a clergy amongst them.
Very
I
good.
know the America has they have a motto, in God we trust,
Yeah.
but then we don't see them going to the house of prayer, spending time praying as against implementing laws.
No, they were before. They were before. All the great men
Spending
of
time
God.
praying.
Yes. All the
As
yes,
against implementing
yes.
laws.
Even today, yes, even today, as we speak,
Well, I bet to
in the
disagree with
in the
you on
White
that one.
House, as we speak in the White House, the Bible
We also
that their
have,
leaders
we have
Still
mosque. We have mosque and churches
Bible
in our own
I'm talking of one aspect now. Before, let me talk
Yeah,
about
but
the
let's-
one I know.
Let's not.
And so that I don't go to the one I don't know.
Nigeria is a multi-religious society.
That is why the problem is spiritual. Because if one is praying to Ogu, another one is praying to Shango, and one is praying to God, you understand? Then
God is a
became
it's-
complicated.
It depends on
Okay,
where you're from.
I really do not buy into this. But then, Mr. Akin, I'd like to come to you on this. Now, Nigeria, like we know, and like you've rightly said earlier, is not producing. There is also the part
Nigeria is
of
producing.
trust deficit amongst the citizens and the political elite. Now, if a former presidential candidate is coming out to say Nigerians need to pray, owing to the fact that he had that space to ask Nigerians to do this, what would you then say would be the reason why he made mention of that? One. Two, what do you think Nigerians need to do aside prayer? Because just like Moses was trying to say right now, there's not been any country, and this is with facts, that religiosity have taken up to a developing nation from an underdeveloping nation. What should Nigerians do at this point? Should Nigerians be getting more involved in politics rather than consistently praying? Because praying and not doing practically is a different thing. What would you say at this point?
What I would say is the fact that the examples that Mr. White gave back in history, those countries are not at any point in time as we are looking at the kind of examples we should be looking at. So we should not be looking at America and the Trump factor. We should not be looking at the gay issue and LGBT that they are important to give back to us. I'm looking at a place like Sweden. I'm looking at a place like Denmark. I'm looking at a place like Finland. These are countries that they have not decided to put religion as bangba like that. Germany used to be very religious. But the military industrial complex that you see around the world, including China and Korea, are not because people pray. People work. People plan. People do what they need to do. And David, to say that Nigerians are not getting involved in politics, this program that I think I'd like you to relay it back. Radio stations here and there, I see the average person that you thought was not going to be very political savvy, trying to get, we need to do this, we need to do that. What we lack, again, at the end of the day, is leadership. Back to Peter Gregory Obi. I disagree with him that we should pray for politicians. We have prayed for politicians. He prayed for politicians. Others prayed for politicians, not just in church, in mosques. Immediately after prayer, they go and do their cult thing, and then they go and start to take their bath in the open. We all know, they know that we know. So all this one that is talking about prayer, I think we should be talking more about industry. We should be talking about science and technology. Have they been talking about it? Yeah, they've been talking about it. I like a situation where truth is told. Go into a church. One of the things I expected to begin to see there is that religion is a personal thing. Religion should be something that I am looking forward to. I am a practicing Christian that we should take away from our constitution. It's distorting. And at the end of the day, the imbalance, the last election, all of us knew how we got torn down from the middle because of religion. If you're not from this place, I'm not going to vote for you. If you're not from that place, I'm not going to vote for you. Is that what we should be looking at? We have prayed enough. It's now time to re-engineer and make people to self-punishment if they go wrong.
Okay.
Right.
Make people
Now,
to be
another thing.
ethical and be morally
Right.
justified in the way and manner they do things. Let example start from the ruler himself.
Okay.
So that people
Another
can
thing
follow.
that was discussed at that meeting was how certain Nigerians run around those within power, those at the corridor of power, defending them even when they know that, look, what they might be doing may not be right,
Right.
just for the kickbacks
Yes.
that they get.
Yes.
And it was elaborated, it was emphasized at that meeting that these are some of the people that go ahead and cause chaos,
All right.
fight, and
Right.
one party's stooges are fighting the other party's
Right.
stooges.
Right.
Talking about Nigeria's involvement in politics and corruption,
Yeah.
how do we manage this aspect where certain people run around politicians knowing that they will get something? They defend them as long as they are getting as long as they're getting their palms being greased.
Yeah.
They defend them sometimes to the detriment of the truth of issues. How do we address that now? Should there be some sort of regulation?
No, you can't regulate that, and you can't pray that out of.
I'll come to you.
Okay.
I'll come to you in a bit.
Okay, you can't pray about that, and you can't just wish that out, but by personal example. In this same country, we had men and women that embraced the truth. Truth was always there, and truth is not only
There's a
recognized
song that says, "Truth don't die you."
and
Remember that
rewarded.
one?
And rewarded. We are talking about people
Femi Kuti, actually.
who surround politicians, not just in Nigeria, it's everywhere. And people will tell you, Moses.
So do you think truth is dead?
Sorry?
Do you think truth is dead? As
How
said by Femi?
Why do you think we now then say that politicians are the worst of the worst that you can find? But in between there, maybe one, maybe two, that we can continually look at and show as good examples. We had it in this country before. They are not perfect, they are not angels. Not these carpetbaggers that we are talking about today. The last election, again, it wasn't just Peter Obi. Let's want to close your eyes and then not want to look at the truth. It came at a point where Christianity or Islam was now being manipulated by this. And then you have got to have megaphones. People will be able to now go and do that. You know, then tell me, it's just like telling me that an armed robber who has gone on different expeditions and he has always come back, he will suddenly want to stop because it's not the truth. Unless he gets a superior force. And that superior force is the force of the law. You are caught.
force of the
You
law.
are, look at the present. Look at the present. Look at the present
Exactly.
Nigerian head, samurai. It's all out there. Mr. White knows, you know, I know. Suddenly one
Right,
day
let me get
started
Mr.
talking
White.
about the fact that he was in the national. I'm sorry, he was in the chambers and he saw his son. He saw his son. Do you see how ugly that sounds? Come on. Look, at the end of the day, we all know what is right, what should be right, and we as citizens must galvanize ourselves and put their feet to fire.
All right, then. White, please.
Yeah, I want to agree with Peter Obi.
That prayer is needed.
That we needed prayer. And, but what kind of prayer?
Let's
He has said, pray for politicians.
What about
He
praying
is a
for us?
politician also.
What about the masses?
Then who are those praying for the politicians? Who are those he is talking to
Nigerians.
pray for the politicians? Nigerians who go to the house of God to pray. Pray for politicians. Now, in governance, there is nothing like truth.
Okay.
All over the world. In
What do you have
governance.
in the mind?
In governance, it's facts and figures. If you can put facts and figures together, whether falsely or rightly, and they pass it. Now, look at it. Why is it that those people surrounding the leaders know that the leaders, the country is not doing well, and they continue to praise the leader? It is because they are the one that put him there. And they are the one also who will preserve him there.
Okay, let's get your
Until he
concluding
gets
thoughts
out.
in because
So,
okay.
yes.
Before
Go ahead.
we get
Sorry,
the
please.
concluded. No, to
I
you,
knew
Mr.
Fina was
Abisa.
going to ask me,
You
so let me
have
face
to.
that to answer. Yes.
No, I really have to ask you this particular question because Mr. Peter Obi actually knew that politicians, or rather the political elites, the people that were put in position, are not using our money judiciously.
Of course.
Yet, he's not looking at the issue that they should be arrested, prosecuted, sentenced to their normal term if they have to do it. Rather, he's calling on us to, is it like he's also like trying to tell us now we need to find a way to pattern the bar people who misuse public funds?
Not exactly. You know, I think it's a cultural thing. Something goes wrong, let's pray. Rather than sit down, the blow-ups that we had in there, we knew it was going to happen, but we prayed it's not going to happen. We want to run in front of a trailer, believing that the driver will get the brake on and all that. So we have turned this thing into a cultural thing to begin to look at laziness, and we are beginning to make a lot of money from it. And in making that money from it, like Moses said, we begin to lie to one another. What Peter Obi has said could have been said by Atiku Abubakar. In fact, Bola Tinubu will say exactly the same thing if he got into a mosque. And that is the truth. It is for us to now begin to open our eyes and say, Mr. President, Mr. Peter Obi, Mr. Atiku, and all that, you are asking us to pray. Yeah, we've just prayed, and we just understood that we just came back from Dubai and all that. Why can't you live with us? Why are you asking us to tighten our seat belts? Why is your son being seen around the corridors of power? It's unethical. You don't need prayers for that. It's just common sense and emotional intelligence. Nigeria must, I repeat, Nigeria must do away with our over-religiosity. Ghana, that is contiguous with us. So what Ghana decides to say, look, stop all these things. So what Kagame did in Uganda, and development is going. We must open our eyes and free ourselves from mental slavery.
All right.
This religious thing that we keep on talking about is dragging us back to your religion in your own little corner or whatever it is, and that will now put money on to send you to pilgrimages and stuff like that when our children are out of school and all that. Wrong priorities.
All right then. So would that be your concluding thoughts on this one?
That will be my concluding thought.
Thank you very much, Mr. Akin Papatunke, who is a communications expert and also public affairs commentator, with a whole lot more added to his portfolio there. Mr. White?
Yes. We need to pray.
We need to pray.
Okay.
Plain and simple.
Yes.
All right then. Thank you very much as well. Well, this is where we wrap up this conversation. We must say a very big thank you to the gentlemen in the studio. And we'd like you to let us know what you think about the topics we've shared so far by commenting underneath our post on YouTube. It's Voice of the People TV up on YouTube. Do well to subscribe and drop your comments. We'll take them in subsequent editions of the program. All right, we'll take a break now. When we come back, we'll get into business.
From the views on the street
We go to bed empty hunger.
to the blaring horns of a hustling city, the loudest voices of the common man got a medium to be heard.
This particular administration, they were coming unprepared.
It's not a bad thing to renovate the president's lodge.
Through top-notch programming, unbiased reportage of news, sports, business, entertainment, and cultural documentaries, Voice of the People 90.3 FM became a symbol for 21st century media. And now, a new baby is born. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV, youthful, full of vigor and penchant for excellence in the continent's media space, exposing the wrongs, applauding the rights, dissecting the news without fear or favor, through factual and accurate stories and contents,
Corruption kills three things that makes a society.
representing the interests of the people and giving them a voice. Voice of the People TV is here to stay towards building a fair society. VOP TV, Voice of the People Television, truly a voice for the people.